harvest.
Yes, with the pot.
You dress.
Yes, what you see is brownish like this, with the pot on milk.
Yeah.
That's paddy. So here, paddy. I know most of these millers, they buy paddy, so there are a lot of processes that go into rice production, so they mill it. So it's just there's no time that I have shown you video of all those mill, how they go into the different sections. It's automated. You just remove the bag, and then you see the mill rice. The rice that is the bag, and then you start eating. So I hope it's clear now. So anytime you hear paddy is the mill rice. That's the word. Okay, so we have food processing, all the millers too. So it's not only rice. You can process mango, right, into fruits. You can guava and everything, right? So they're all processing and manufacturing. Packaging companies, they're here. So you have the packaging. Most of this bottle that you have, this water bottle, juice bottle, there are people that they are so you can see the opportunities across the chain, right? Then we'll now move to distribution. Now we give you the mic. You want to say something here? So you see distribution. I said is not limited to this. There are a lot of things that distribution and retail. So here now, after the manufacturer, the next is you have people like the traders are there, the distribution and logistic companies. Their own is just to pick for the manufacturer and to whoever store or wholesaler, you understand. So the opportunities are there. Then we have the retailers and those that even want to take it overseas, right? Yeah. So the final one is the consumer. Now you hit the table. So it can be individual consumer, it can be household, it can be even companies. Companies can be consumers too, right? Okay, so fine. You want to say something? Because I want to move fast. I said I will run.
Yes, it's just a quick one.
Okay.
It's just a quick one to add on to what Mr. Bajo was saying in regards to what farmers go through in the Gambia. Our own experience would be on this distribution and retail. I think market is one of the major factors in our sector, that is poultry, because most of the times I think that is where the importance of insuring your farm comes in, because you will raise these birds, buy them, buy the feed, do the medication and everything, and the wholesalers in the market would rather prefer to get these goods from you at a depth. Some would tell you at an agreed time of 2 weeks or so, but it can take up to 2 months and make you run out of business for that 2 months if you don't have enough cash with you to continue your production. One, it makes you not to be that reliable supplier to the customers. Two, if this money is given to you as a source of loan, it also makes you struggle to pay off these loans. So these are areas that I think policymakers who are in here should definitely look into, most especially with the area of poultry. Because the Gambia government, yes, we know that there are imported poultry products coming into the country, but again, those people who are doing the production in here should be considered as well, because marketing is definitely a challenge for us. So I think that area in the value chain, the poultry, whatever, it should be looked into properly.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I won't say anything. We have poultry, a session for poultry. We will look at livestock tomorrow, but because of the opportunity we're seeing and also the volatility in poultry business, I know you have experience. The losses can be too alarming. So that's why we have a session specifically, and it's going to open your eyes to see opportunities that you can venture into in poultry. So tomorrow we're going to address that, and also on that issue of there's a product, because mostly is under the domain of what we call revenue insurance, but it's actually speculation. So for now, we advise people, because when you have a new product that is coming into the market, you don't just jump and say you're giving an holistic. You start with the major natural, and then maybe the social, and then before you now go to all those speculations area before you understand. Because sometimes some are even requesting for price fluctuation, inflation, devaluation, and everything. So we'll look at that tomorrow. So I hope this slide we're okay now. Is it very clear? So because I want to move fast. So you see the value chain has finished, right? But before is this second point that mostly we are after. And that's why it has been our bane in Africa. That's why we lost a lot of money. There'll be a lot of money flight to advanced economies, and then they will send the finished product, and then will be all this coffee and everything. But thank God, if you go to Kenya, it's their main state. They do a lot, add value. Before they will just grow the coffee, and then send abroad, and then they will now do the actual coffee product, or tea, and then send to them. You see today are all product of needs. You know, insurance didn't start. I have the first insurance that those are of us who can remind you all those that I did CI. The first was marine, right? And later it moves to fire, fire, and then the motor and the rest are coming. So they are product of needs. So we are solution providers. That's what I mean sometimes when I enter into management meeting, and then maybe somebody said requires a proposal, and then returns give you written in 1870 something. They will be reading your CIA book and just say, if you check all these terms and the conditions, it doesn't align to, you say we are not writing, just decline. Yeah? No appetite, right? Zero appetite, no. You know, so it's very, very important. So like I said, because of time, so you can see for seed failure, you have loan defaulters at this stage, like she mentioned, you understand. Most of these input suppliers, they can take loan to supply, you understand. And then because it's a default to them if you fail to pay. They give farmer, and then maybe farmer something, it might be natural. Maybe the farmer planted and promised you at harvest you pay, and something happened. No insurance. The flood, drought, and is unable to even harvest. Where will he get the money to give you for the input? So and now you start want to default to you. The banks will start chasing you. You are chasing the farmer. And the entire value chain is it's messed up. So, and then we have this insurance, input credit link insurance. So the production we already know, I mentioned it, right? These are the things, the risks that is inherent, you can see. And then these are we have the crop, livestock, and then weather index, all these products. You see if you can, this training, everything is going towards the same direction. We started the introduction, and most of the things I have said before, we're getting more clarity as we proceed. So I don't have to, because I'm so post-harvest, we have spoilage, right? You harvested maybe where you came because you didn't store it very well. Maybe it's even very perishable, maybe fruit or something, because you don't even know. Like I said, I was mentioning something that there was a time in Nigeria when the government they were pushing for this backward integration. So the President Obasanjo then, farmers around the southwest, mostly Yoruba farmers, southwest, they grow because of the soil. It's sandy loamy, so cassava thrives in that kind. You understand? So they give them, they give them cassava roots for the vitamin C fortified to grow. So farmers in the villages, because Obasanjo is actually from that western to encourage, you understand, because they didn't look at it in the light of a chain. So that the production and the game, and these farmers, when they had that, they would be buyer. It's not like the uncle letter that there was a contract that was signed, you understand, but they said there would be buyer, just grow. So all of them that were doing other things, they left yam. They grew cassava like never before. Nigeria is the biggest producer of cassava. So they even went and produced. They said the cassava is like moving from over 100% production. So they grew cassava everywhere, to the point that cassavas were in the farm, they harvested, there's no place to store. All the stores that are around take it. Cassava on the field, cassava at home, cassava everywhere, no buyer. That was how that initiative, the farmers recruited. It is almost 20 years. There's some farmers, anytime you go and say anything cassava, it's better to call another crop, they won't listen to you. You understand? So why? Because poor storage, they didn't look at the chain. Where are the millers? How do the miller assess the farmers? How much will they buy? Are you getting it? Yeah. So these are things that are addressed pre-production. So very important. So processing, I think IGI Gambia, right? So you can see now this for you. We have processing. We have you can even add your own. We have what machinery breakdown, right? Yeah, for those millers, right? I think fire too. Normally processing. So we have the business interruption can go, machinery can go. So you can see there are other products that you can marry and add to those, as you see the rigs when you visit or whatever. So then distribution, accident could happen after the processing, the distribution to the retailers or the wholesalers, accident, and there could be inventory loss, right? Yeah, so these are product liability, inventory covers can also serve at this part of the chain. Then consumers, we have food price shocks. That's where I said we are looking at products that could serve that. But I said they are all on the domain of speculation, so we are being very, very careful because there's no enough data. How are we sure that at the end of the day, the price will either drop or going to spike? You know, so you have to get enough data over 10 years for you to be able to. But we are looking at that. Contamination too is there, you know, and then we have food security and macro insurance. They're all are suitable for risks around the consumer part of the chain. So we'll just move. So strategic levers for insurance. So these are the take home for you. So you look at so what we are building with finance and agri input. So all this comment that you are saying is here. So you are telling sometimes the farmers, they need finance, right? They need agri input that you mentioned to support them, you know, to be able to. So we also encourage mobile and satellite-based innovation, like the way we're going to do with the weather index, the parametric for the production sites. So these are opportunities for private sector, public-private partnership, like we're having now. That's why I said we have to give it to the organizers for pulling virtually all key stakeholders to this place, and we have to sustain it. Very, very important. Climate resilience and sustainability products. We're going to look at that. All the parametric product that serves, we're going to look at it. So these are strategic levers take home for the insurance. So conclusion. So agriculture, we all agree is high risk, right? But huge opportunity for insurance. We can't say because it's risky, we won't go. Like I said, I used to tell people, agri, they say it's volatile, but I've been in this space for more than 20 years. And that's what I even told some people, they were shocked, that even when I managed that Niger is the most volatile. Do you know what it means for a state to house 4 major hydro dams? It means once, you know, most of these dams, government is there in the policy. When you're constructing a dam, you don't have, the water level rises and it might collapse the dam. You are leeway to open water, irrespective of who is around. That's why they used to tell them, well, you know, people, because of attachment to ancestral land, you know, when they're building them, they will tell you 100-kilometer radius from a major water dam. You should not stay there. But you know, some of them left and they start reclaiming those lands. That's why in Nigeria, most time, if you hear the flood in Niger, Mokwa, all those areas, once there's a flood, all this come. You remember the recent one now? The Namakwa, Jeba. You know, Jeba is to when you are going towards Kwara, right? And the other side, you have Kainji. So imagine it's a valley, so Mokwa is down the valley. So once this dam, they open, this year they might open Kainji, the other they open Jeba. So the last time it was Jeba that was open. Because you know what it means if these are multi-billion naira projects, right? So if they don't do that, and we have Labo in Cameroon, that mostly affects people around the other northeastern parts. You know, so most times you will not even hear. If you are happy, they will even give you a day notice that the dam they will soon start moving from such areas. You know, so but even in that kind of state, I was able to manage with all the and then turn out profitable. So there are huge opportunities for insurance. Then, again, insurance must be integrated in the value chain, not so standalone. So when you are looking at, maybe somebody approached you, wants to grow rice, and then you can pro further. This rice, what's the plan? Do you have a miller? You understand? So you look at it across and then give a cover that. That's why mostly in most of these programs, that's why I say Gambia is green. This is an opportunity for the Gambia. We have done it in Ghana. That's why when you have a land that is just opening, Nigeria is doing, we are scratching the surface, but I can say it's saturated somehow. But here we are bringing this new, so this is the perfect time for your policy makers to put on all this. You want to say something?
The Jahalipachar area, we all know milling rice is a problem there. but they leave everything to the government. If a financier establish a standard mill in Jahal Pachal area, controlled by them, they're going to make a lot of profits. And you can follow the value chain in that way. But Gambian money men and Gambian financial institutions, they dump agriculture into the slum. They do not want to help farmers at all. All has to be done by the government. And until, for us to have a successful nation, this money should be invested in the people, and the people benefit out of it. That's my end conclusion. All of them are here. Nobody wants to help a farmer. And we all want to have food. That's it.
Making another point that affects everybody. You say all of you are here. So the decision should be taken here then, right? That's why I say we will have to have a communique. Please, this thing should be, you understand, take it seriously. Because I've been around and I've seen responsible government and people take action as a result of this kind of conversations, and we are seeing the results that we expect. So it's very, very important. Like I said, you have to come with value. Like if you check my profile, there's a place they put negotiation, and so sometimes I find it very difficult. Sometimes when I listen to people, I say it's difficult because the person that is bringing the money, you have to show some semblance of value. It's his money now. He could have just used that money and do some round tripping somewhere and just get his return. So you want him to put in agri. So what's the return? Are you getting it? Because it's not free money. Because you're not talking about government. You say government is always the one doing. So you want private. So you put value. You look at it, all these things. Like I said, I'll give you this slide. You see the opportunity. You think, like even I used to say now that there's no box. Now think outside the box, right? The box is already filled. So think outside the box. And come up and you sell. Are you getting it? So most of these things I'm telling you that now that people are consciously involved at different strata in Nigeria, it's because of these things that we brought. It was not like this. The same thing you are saying, when we started, people were complaining, but we stood at it, those of us that have the heart of the nation. Are you getting it? So if you have the heart, don't give up. Continue to push. We have people. Yesterday I was in the office, I listened to the MD of the and I was very quiet because me sometimes I like to listen. And these are people that are very, very gifted, that have something inside. So you have key people like that with such influence. You understand? That's why we are here now. Apart from we are here for us to connect, right? So you exchange contacts. It's not just you exchange pleasantries. You exchange contacts and follow up with the community, and then we that are outside. We're here. This is the first time. I will keep on coming. If you have conversation that even want us to be involved, if Nigeria and Gambia is not far, right? We can even come virtual or something and put our own, input into it because we want to see. We're discussing with the MD earlier, and that's fact. How Nigeria is to Gambia. I don't know how we just naturally have these feelings. We love for the Gambians, and even Gambians in return. Me, I was telling them while over the table, those of you that I say I love football, apart from this, I do other, I'm involved. And I observe, I belong to so many platforms, and I noticed that there are countries that enter the here Nigeria is battered. They don't want to see us at the top. But I observe Gambians, once a Gambia comes in to make a comment, it's something positive. It's support. So we too are giving back, right? So we can do anything to ensure that you succeed. So lastly, innovation partnership, just like we mentioned, is equal to what? Success. So you partner, and then your creative minds, partnership, you ensure you can't do it alone, so you need the people. You might have the idea, but you need those with the resource, right? And then you need all the policy and regulatory also support from the government, right? You have your regulator. I saw. Do you have something? I had somebody with regulation, something. Okay, CBN. Okay, it's
Central Bank of the Gambia.
Okay. Central Bank of the Gambia. Okay, but we have there are NICOM, the regulator. They sit with they don't have an independent body like we will. So they sit like a department under the Central Bank. So you are here now. So most of this thing, this communique, if you finish, you put everything.
And that was the
It's whereby they are giving.
That was the commissioner of insurance. Is the commissioner of insurance?
The one that spoke,
Yes.
Commissioner of Insurance of the Gambia. Amazing. Powerful. So we have the clean the la cream, like they say, in this way. So thank you, we're done, right? I think we have finished this. So I will move to the next slide. If you like, you can clap. So we have gap for all commodity crops. And also, why gap? It's very important. Protect your environment, your soil, water, and biodiversity. And when we say biodiversity, biologists, environmentalists, what's biodiversity? Okay, so let me just help. Biodiversity simply means, assuming now this room, let's take this room as an area, right? So we say biodiversity, anything that is life in this room, in this area. So we can say the biodiversity of Banjul. It means everything that is like both plants, animals, fungi, and even microorganisms like bacteria. So all those, the way they interrelate in that environment is called biodiversity. Are you getting it? So that's what GAP. Also improve farmer income and marketability, safeguard consumer health. I mentioned it earlier. So you are killing the soil, and then you use maybe 5 of the area. So there's quantity of, so don't misuse it. Or the chemical, they will tell you, okay, just one, this 75 or 50, right? This quantity apply in a 50 container of, what's it called? Of this knapsack sprayer that they normally wear at the back, right? So this for it. And then you now say, okay, you want to put everything. So you are not, okay. You want to say something?
Yes, I think there I would come in, even though we are behind time. Farms like Radville, they're very conscious with these pesticides.
You use organic, right?
Yes.
Oh, no,
No, they use NPKs, but then they have the measurements and how to use them. But then the problem comes back to the local farmers, the smallholders. And these are the people who are supplying the general public at the end of the day. The use of these pesticides and the fertilizers, they misuse them. Because you will see a farmer use a certain type of pesticide on a certain whatever that affects the farm, you don't even know. The time of withdrawal and everything, you don't know. The person buying this thing from the market, at the end of the day, does not even know the types of pesticides that are used. So I think there should be a lot of concentration on this for local farmers to know how to use these things, when to use them, and the right time for the withdrawal. So the final consumer would not eat something that will affect the person at the end of the day.
Excellent. So I'm even happy. By the time you start, you have people that are experienced here. So part of the, like I said, when we had those programs that affects directly the farmers, these are the training. You know, you remember I mentioned side comment while I was speaking. I said we ran a training with them on 3 modules. Remember, right? Farming as a business, GAP, good agronomic practices, and also group dynamics. So the GAP is this thing that I'm teaching you. They were taught everything for the crops that they are going into. And then we did group dynamics is how for them to come together as cooperative, to work together for the good of, common good of all. And then farming as a business, they were trained on how to see farming, how you keep records, you understand? You know, how you manage, from the proceeds of the farm, the one to spend, the one to invest, are you getting it? So they were taught. That's why I said in Nigeria, all those that participated, millions of farmers, everybody. And what they did, it was translated to the local language. So the ones that you can read. Those that can even, that have visual impairment, you know, it was recorded that they can listen in the language that they understand. So much went into it. Like I said, that model, once you are ready, we are available to support, you know. So I understand, you know, sometimes this conversation is bringing out, you know, a lot of thoughts, you know how to make your country better. You know. So then physical side of it could be soil erosion, contamination, poor irrigation. So all these things, you know, I don't have to waste my time. Then post-harvest, we have touched it, right? We mentioned post-storage, transport, and what? Handling. So these are crop-related risks. Yeah. So you like soil management. So this I'll just run through it. So this, if there's a risk, this is what the result, or these are the risks, and these are the gap. You see how I made the presentation very simple, right? That everyone can. You know, there's some insurance company. I remember one lady in Nigeria. I think she's from Linkage. So I did the training. I didn't know. You know, ladies they carry bags every time now. So this thing was she was start performing. So later when I saw the result, I kept on asking them, why are you different? And she would be calling me. She now said, you know what I did? So those slides that you give me, because it's relatable, it's very simple. So she printed it and put it for the livestock and the crop. She put it in her paper. So anytime she's a marketer, so anytime she goes to the field, she see any opportunity, she will just open this thing and look the one that relate, and then she will go and address them and talk like a season and start getting businesses. Until when I got to the office, I had to tell them that we did this training for everybody, but look at this one is getting results. So you can see now, this one you see this where the rings are, you see the gap, right? That fits in, So for soil management and fertility, these are the issues that soil degradation. Who can help me with the definition? What is soil degradation? It's simply depletion in the quality of what? Of the soil. So soil that is giving you, maybe when you have 5 tons, but now you're getting less than even 1 ton. There is a problem, right? So now, soil testing before planting, you see now, part of the gap. We mentioned, you remember the definition of gap, right? Everything that will cause sustainability, right? You increase your productivity and what you so you have soil testing before planting, use of organic matter, we advise, and compost. So organic is not the chemical. If there's as far to the best you can get organic, you understand. The remains of most of these things, or the excreta of these animals, like you can easily use it too. My dad used to he loved farming, and he used to have most of these poultry. So what he used to tell them that they would just be keeping it somewhere. So they will move it at a time to that big land, but they will just pour it there, and then yes. And then by the time they start plowing, they'll just turn the soil, and then you see the farm is just doing well. So it's very, very important. Use of organic matter, crop rotation, and cover crops. Very important. That's another. Those are lay sociology. Is it biology or primary school? What's crop rotation? Remind agric science, primary school. Crop rotation. Can somebody remind? You have been talking. Now let me come to this side.
Simply means to not use the same crop at the same location multiple times subsequently. Okay. When you do maize, maybe the next time.
So what's the difference between crop rotation and shifting cultivation?
And what?
Shifting cultivation. You got it, the definition.
Yeah, shifting cultivation usually we do like where in one season you can have different crops harvested within a span.
Can you hear him?
As I said,
is it crop rotation or we address with shifting cultivation?
Crop rotation.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, what it means simply is to demarcate the
So
farm in such a
year
way
you
that
do maize, next year you do beans, right?
yes, just to make sure that because different crops
Yes.
require different nutrients on the ground so that it's not depleted.
There are some crops that help the soil to regenerate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because there are some crops we put, they will drain all the nutrients.
Yes.
It's all like
So some of them are
so you need another one
than
too.
hungry.
So
they
there's
will-
shifting
they will-
cultivation. Can
yeah.
somebody help him? You want to help? Shifting cultivation. Okay, you want to help. Please don't go and Google. Okay, try.
Yeah. Shifting cultivation simply means you work on a piece of land
Correct.
for a number of years and you decide to
Abandon.
for a considerable
That's
period
the
of
word.
time.
That's the word.
Yeah.
Like I said in exam, this
Yeah.
I even gave you the word. I just told the word from your mouth.
Yeah. It's just
So,
like
so that's the key word.
yeah.
So if you put your right way, the correct quantity, the right way. Huh? So now the next one, water management. So we have what we call contaminated irrigation water. And then we have overuse of water resources. You know there are some people that abuse water. They abuse. There are some streams, there are areas that I don't know, it's common in Gambia. There are some streams that they are not year round. They are season that you have the water. But because of abuse, that water, God is just, right? The water might sustain maybe the next if you are doing irrigation. But the way even in the rain-fed season, they will abuse that water, that will not serve that location. So maybe you're supposed to apply morning, afternoon, morning, evening, and the person will just go and put the machine, boom, and just leave. The thing will just be pumping. The water that's supposed to start for 1 week, he has
in one day.
Yes. So that's where we talk about So good agricultural practices that fit in water management on the farm. What? Save irrigation sources, avoid wastewater, right? Then we have efficient system, drip and sprinkler. You know the difference between drip and sprinkler irrigation? Somebody wants to comment? You want to comment? You want to comment? I say I want to interactive. I'm enjoying the class. Okay. Did you introduce yourself? Were you here when we did the introduction? Chamber of Commerce. That's where the monies are, right? You want to say something? Okay, well, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. I hope it's not the tea that's making you feel okay with it as well. Okay, you want to say something? Drip, irrigation, and sprinkler are different. So you are the lecturer now. Put the mic closer to your mouth so that you will hear you.
Okay, my understanding for drip irrigation is where you have the appliances like a lining of wire close to the seedlings.
Yes.
And there will be drops of water per
Yes.
each plant.
Yeah, correct.
So it will.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And then sprinkler is the one that you
yeah, sprinkler
just
is
go like
the,
a sprayer.
the water appliance where it
Yes,
sprays
yes.
across
So
a
drip
particular
is
period.
actually tailor-made strategic application. And most of this equipment for those irrigation, the quantity. There's some crop they will tell you that this is the quantity of the water. So through that drip, you are sure that the required quantity of water gets to the root, or the stem or whatever of the crop. I hope it's clear. So thank you so much. You have answered. So water conservation practice is very important. You have to manage the water, and monitoring water quality also very critical. I hope it's clear, right?
It's not very clear, sorry. Let me take you back there. Because applying this good agricultural practice, some major farms can afford all these things to be able to know, the soil level, the water that they should use and all that. But coming back to the local farm, that's the interest here. Some of these things, they wouldn't be able to afford it or don't even know. They just get into farming because you want to sustain something. So how do you make them get all this?
So like I said, when we say drip, it's not every farmer. Have to put it holistically. It's a training, right? But we have the natural canal way of applying water, depending on the crop that you're growing. Are you getting it? And this irrigation predates. You understand? Irrigation is not something more. We have modern implements, but irrigation has been there. It has been there. So most of these farmers, they know how to. You understand? I remember while we're growing up, back then, all these plantation, vegetable farms, then back in northern Nigeria, they normally have this thing I used to watch. They have something like like a calabash. It was a program. They put wire. The thing will be turning like 360. You fed the water. You're making some. Take water and drop in the canal like that. I'm telling you. When we by that used to take us to those. Because it's into agriculture, we used to see this. So education.
Jerrycan.
Yeah, jerrycan.
Water in jerrycans
Yes.
and water your garden,
Yes.
like your house garden.
Yes. You can apply. Yes. You can do it manually. You can just take water jerrycan. So irrigation is not that it has to be. So you can. That's why we are here now. If you check, there is a place where I will come to where you see TOT. When we come to modern, this trainer, right? You're trained to cascade it down to the local farmer in the language that the bears will understand. So it's not cast on stones. Everybody can. Because in Africa, we're dealing with people. That's why when I started now, if you observe my teachings, I always say this. When I did hectare, did I come to the granular and start explaining that you deal with local farmer? Because you are here with your time. Maybe you don't even. So the real farmers are there. So that's why we're training you as an insurance. And as an insurance practitioner, You know, the value that you add, I have to say this. The reason why, even up to now, these people are the directors. Sometimes I will see a call. Sir, please, we have this project. We are farmers from this community. You know, so I will just laugh and say, how are you doing? But I'm not at the direct, but I will now quickly call those companies that, former colleagues, and say, please rush to this. Do you know why these people never forget me? Value.
But something is happening here.
Value. When I go, you pay premium, right? Yes, I receive your premium. So me, I'm not after even the premium more. I'm after the sustainability of what you do. So when I go, I look at the farm holistically. So that's why I said as an insurance person, underwriter, apart from being an underwriter, you wear another additional cap called extension service cap. Most of this knowledge that I have is not that I just add insurance. You have to read you have to attend all the trainings and you must be very, very inquisitive to know these things. So when you go, these are some of the things that you give to the farmers. Okay, now you have collected the premium, you came to visit to ensure that the farm exists and everything. You have done your insurance check, fine. But you observe the way he manages, there's no gap. Nothing stops you from sitting the farmer down. I've observed this thing. Next time, do it this way. You understand? What are you doing? Value. Because at the end of the day, by the time you harvest, you see the result. He will never forget you. So he'll be looking at, we have this project. When the insurance people come, because there's something that you live with them anytime you visit them. It's very, very important. Thank you. So we'll move to the next. The next is pest and disease management. Very important. That's another critical concern to the farmer. Pests, you know the risks, you can crop loss, right? You also, just like we have the fertilizer residue, here you can have what? Pesticide residue, right? And then also we have resistant pests. There are some pests that no matter how you apply, you can't kill them. Huh? So, okay, just knowledge sake, we're in the class, we are running, we're almost getting to the last slide. You know, you'll be hearing insecticides or insect and pest. What's the difference? Okay, insecticide, yeah. But then there's another one that you want to help.
Pesticides.
Pest and
Pest is
insects.
so general.
Yes.
That insects are part of the pest.
Correct.
Yes. But
pest is the generic name.
yeah.
You know, an insect is part of the family of pests.
Yeah.
The insects, okay, say you want to say something
Yeah,
different?
insects are beneficial. They are not considered as pest. When you say pest, it means destructive of crops. Can be human. It can be wildlife. It can be hippos. Can be anything. Even diseases are part of it.
Pests.
Yeah.
So, but insecticide, there are insecticides that are insects that are destructive. It's not the different. They belong to a family called arthropods. You know, those tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where insects. So insects too can. It's just that pest is a generic name. Even rodents, like you mentioned, part of anything that causes harm, you know, to human host and its human host or investment or whatever is pest. Yeah? So what you use to fight them, like for example, now you have rodents. You know, we have they call it Hausa in the north. They call pera. I don't know how they call it. You know those small black. Yeah? Rats. Yeah. So they are pests. So you know you can use what you use to attack is called pesticide. You can't call it insecticide. Are you getting it? You know, so that's it. So the gap there is integrated pest management. That's IPM. So integrated pest management is the approach you use in using pesticide that should not be harmful to the environment. So the approach that you use, that's why sometimes it's critical for you to ask yourself, this pesticide I want to use, is it necessary? You have to look at it. If it's going to cause harm to the soil, to you, or to the environment, you weigh the what we call cause and benefit, right? Cause and benefit analysis. So the approach should be, is it necessary? Can you fight it toward using other maybe organic means or to fight it? So it's not all the time that once because they say they give, you have to use everything. You see something, you use no. There are things that you can use. Like I said, I remember our grandmother then when we used to while I was reviewing my slide, I now remember this thing. You know, when she's late, she died many years ago, more than 20 something years. When we visit her, she has this stone that sometimes you see cockroaches. Cockroaches, right? That come. So what she does, she just, the hens in the house, she has where she react them. She just open and carry 3 or 4. You don't have to use any pesticides. You just put them inside that room. Before they will eat all the cockroaches there. Are you getting it? So it's part of. It's now when I said, Grandma was using IPM method because somebody will just carry. You know, it's a store. You have food to eat. Someone can carry instead of that might affect the beans or the food that they're eating. So, but you see how another option of addressing without even causing harm to. So these are some of the things. You remember also now, you can be used for rodents now. You need rodents to just bring a cat, right? Some that even use dog. Use cat. You just release cat. You know how to get all these. You won't see them on the farm again. so that's just how it was. Use of this. Okay, I wanted to be very fast. Okay, can we write? Oh, should we write? Okay, you want to. So that shows. I'm even happy. That shows we won't have too many questions. And but you are listening. By the time we come to the question, everybody will answer. I will look for a seat. At least I've tried, right? So some of you will answer. At least everybody is hearing. I will just point at you and say, please address this question.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to buttress more on this.
Okay, go ahead.
Basically,
IPM, right?
yes, some insects are very useful for pollination. So how does a farmer knows which insect is a pest or a beneficial insect? Because without insects, there will be no pollination. Without pollination, there will be no fruiting. So I listened to one BBC podcast some time ago, and then European countries are exporting pollination insects. They're exporting insects to other countries, growing strawberries and other crops. So how does a farmer basically identify which insects that are harmful to my farm, or because you cannot just kill everyone? So basically,
so now you want to take me to more detail. You know, I try to be less technical. So you want to bring biodiversity, but usually, right? What we normally advise, most of these chemicals, they have the one we call selective chemicals, right? They are compounded in such a way that they are selective. So if you apply a pesticide or insecticide on the field, it doesn't mean that all insects will kill all insects. They are selective. You remember, shell sauce now. You spray all this insecticide in your room. It touches your body, but did they affect you? Why? Because it's selective. There are some that can kill mosquitoes, but they can't kill cockroaches, right? Are we together? There are some that can kill bed bugs, but they can't kill mosquitoes. Why? Because they're selective. So issue of pollination is biodiversity, and it's for the advanced countries. So most of our farmers, we know the ones that, if you grow rice, we know the ones, the pest or insecticides that could or may affect rice, and they are.
If you are a seasoned farmer,
Yeah, you know. So
you know your friends in the field, and who are destroying your crops.
Yes.
Yes. So if you are a seasoned farmer, you know them.
Yeah. So we'll come
Mr.
to.
Badio, I think what he's saying, I asked a similar question. This is not affecting the main farmer who has been in this with 10, 20 years experience. We're talking about young people getting into farming now. Most of the times we have problems because the people that we trust that they can sell these things to us, they are just there to sell. They will tell you, use this, buy that. At the end of the day, you don't know which best one is should be meant for your farm. So what he's asking is very vital. I think we should have trainings in those areas in order for us to know which best ones to use.
I just wanted to say, I don't want my farmer family to take away this workshop away from the insurance.
Oh, okay.
This workshop, I believe, is to show insurance and bankers how they can work with us. If they are able to identify a risk, what are the possible opportunities. So that's why I would like for us to let them absorb the information so that it will open up opportunities for them to be more brave to come to farmers. Because when we talk of farmers, both insurers and bankers, they'll just scream risk. They don't look at the opportunities or what can they do to work with the farmers to mitigate all those risks. So I'll just plead that we try to allow the insurers to get involved, because I think this is what the workshop is about, to open up a platform that will allow insurers and bankers to be more open and brave to work with farmers, rather than what is currently happening when they all easily just run away from us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So, like I said earlier, it's just that Gambia is just opening up for agriculture. If not, these things are addressed. We have different modules of training parts that address most of this concern. You know, like I said, he mentioned we're not dealing with farmers, right? And if we want how to identify the right chemicals, we know how to train the farmers for such. So I would like to crave your intelligence so that we'll be very, very fast. The most important thing you have seen, at least we identify the risks around pest and disease management, right? And then we'll have the gap that address such. Okay, the gap that practices that addressed, the risks. So I will just move. We have mentioned IPM, use of resistant variety. There are varieties now because some of these insects or pests, they build resistance over time, right? So what most of these companies go, they identify what is making them build their resistance and then put another higher version or whatever they are supplying to fight the resistance. So use of resistant varieties. Then biological control, natural enemies. I've already mentioned it, that you can use, create like a predator that will go after the pest, like the ones I mentioned, the hen, and that's what it's called, biological control through natural enemies. I've already explained that. So then judicious use of judicious pesticides use, like right dose we mentioned, and also timing is very important, and PPE, protective, personal protective equipment. So it's very important when you're applying these things in controlling pests. You, first of all, the applier, try and protect yourself. Don't just go, you are spraying this thing, inhaling, and then it's touching your body and say nothing will happen. And you're doing it over year 1 year 2, then later, by the time you're getting into 50s or 60s, you develop a kind of disease that is connected to what you've been doing or inhaling over time. So it's very important when you're applying this, you cover yourself. Is it clear? So like I said, these slides will be given to you. So after the training through the organizers. So now crop protection and chemical use is just a repeat. Now we're looking at the use of the chemical itself. So we have risk, pesticide residue, and environmental contamination. So the gap is you follow label instruction, because most of these things it shows how to use them. So it's very, very important, that you follow instruction as in how to use. Pre-harvest intervals respected. So when you harvest, and then you must keep some space before you apply for the next cycle. The self-storage and disposal of chemicals is very, very important, and then farmer protective equipment I've mentioned earlier, for crop protection and chemical use. Harvest and post-harvest handling, issues that we have there usually are contamination, spoilage, quality loss too. So what are the gaps for it? We have harvest at correct maturity. So it's very, very important that you harvest, because if you don't, you are creating another problem for yourself. Particularly, there's what we call now that we're seeing for those that are growing rice, and has become a challenge. We are seeing losses as companies are trying to play smart, and they are buying cover. We call it crop lodging. Crop lodging. and it's an exclusion. I've identified it in our market and in other markets that we cover, and it's an exclusion. So what they do, for example, I like using rice, and it's applicable to maize and other things. So what they do, they harvest because it's cheaper for them. So the paddy, you plant rice and you use farrow 44 or farrow 47 or farrow 52. These are variety of certified farrow seeds, right? So you supposed to allow it to grow. The life cycle is from day 1 to minimum 90 days or maximum 120 days, right? So, but because you are smart, and that's why insurance cover. Those of us doing insurance, will come to underwriting considerations. You see, it's planting, cover, incept. You know, if you have a motor cover, you start, usually is 1 year, right? 12 calendar months, then you renew. But for crop, it's cycle, per cycle, because you don't renew crop. The subject matter ceases to exist when you harvest. It's not like motor, you see this car with the same plate number, maybe driver over time, right? But harvest, now you plant rice, after you harvest, you have to take it to the miller. Then another cycle. That's why we don't renew. Because the subject matter ceases to exist, and the reality covering that particular subject matter ceases to exist. So, cover. Most insurance companies don't know, and then some people are taking advantage. Companies, I'm talking to the insurance now. So through this training, we're able to know. So because of this cap that they have been wearing of insurance, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. So they will give the farmer 1 year. So a smart farmer that does farrow, he can do 2-3 cycles without one policy they have given him. Are you getting it? Because you have given 1 year. If he's smart, he will do the rainfed. If there is window for irrigation, he will do it before and then another cycle of rainfed he will do for one cover. You understand? So that's why the place of inspection, we see or feel underwriting, very, very important. So it's from planting to physiological maturity. Before they used to say planting to harvest. Because you say planting to harvest, the person will say, I have not harvested now. I told you for paddy is 90 to maximum 120 days, right? Farrow, that's the variety. So now that's minimum 3 months, maximum 4 months. And you give 1 year. So the guy just played too smart, too cycle. Harvested.
No, sometimes even at the advantage of the insurance. Yes, of course, because if my crop require only 3 months, and you are charging me at 12 months, it's at your interest, not my interest.
No, the rate is already sacrosanct. Yeah. It's the same rate he's charging now. If they're giving, it's irrespective.
I got the experience with the microfinances. When they say 1 year is 12 months, when my cycle is only 3 months. So if this is loan, giving money, you see, the longer the period, sometimes the farmer may think it's safer. Why it is an advantage of the financiers.
Okay, so you know, loan is different. They give you loan, they give you usually I think the minimum is like 1 year, right, for you to repay. So they take and then they give insurance, yeah, their premium. But what we are concerned is the subject matter. Once you plan, you harvest, your cover ceases to exist. Anything that happens within 1 year is you and the bank. What is expected is for you, you know, you have, is it moratorium? They call it what? So when you harvest, you pay back. You harvest, you pay back. At least it even give you some credence before them to be able to give you for the next cycle. So what we see, if you're not careful, I'm talking, like I said, I'm talking to the insurance company. If you don't keep a cycle for whatever premium rate you charge, they can play smart on you. And we observe some of these companies, they don't even go for monitoring or inspection. So because you have given 1 year, and you don't know what the person is doing in the field. You have harvested, first cycle, success, maybe second cycle, it's a loss. But the subject matter that actually provided cover was for this first cycle.
No, but here, what I want to understand here, you know, here you are giving a loan to the farmer. The farmer didn't value the hectare. So,
okay.
Because, okay, what I was saying here, you have to be more specific if you are going to the farmer to to make sure that you get a cover, because he also will say, I didn't value the hectares that I am, because he is getting the seed and planning, and he will not know what is the harvest, whether he will get the seed. So there again, you have to, the insurer, make sure that have to consider, because I'm just going to my farm. I didn't know what is the outcome. Let's say I'm depending on the rainy season, and the rainy season didn't come better this year. What will be the area that the insurer will take part on that area?
Okay, so like I said, we will come. We have other sections that address these concerns. We'll come to field underwriting. We'll come to underwriting, agri underwriting consideration, where you see the period of cover, the rate, the band of rate, minimum, maximum. Are you getting it? So we have section. If you check it's there. But because we mentioned something about harvest, and I said we'll address that your concern, right? What happens? You plan. That's what we call cropping calendar. All these things you hear in the next. So now, what I'm concerned is the insurance for the insurance practitioners. Cover incept planting to physiological maturity, not harvesting. So if you make a mistake, I say harvesting, what they do, like I said, the crop lodge, we paid money in millions, and now had to insist that the direct company should go and visit at the point of harvest. And what they found that was not good to the air. So what they do, they are just these Chinese, Lebanese farms. So they big farm, all I mean, they're very big. So they grow this rice. So because the cost of harvesting, because when you harvest the next phase, you have to go and dry it. They have automated dryers, big plants, and it's part of the milling processes. Because you have to bring the moisture to a certain level for it to go into the mill. So what they do, to play smart, they will leave everything to sun dry on the farm. And it's very, very attractive for birds infestation. Dry season, now birds can move anyhow. And then everything is ready for them. All they need to do is just to go and to just start picking them. And then that's not even the issue, because we excluded bird infestation. So any laws you are saying birds, then we said you have to put bird scaring device on the field, which they've done. So, but what they do, they allow it on the farm, and that's what we call crop lodging. Those of you that are into agriculture, so you know rice, the stem. The stem is a bit once there's moisture, is stronger within the course of the season. But once the rain ceases and it's at harvest, because of the pot that you carry, the paddy is at the top. The stems are now weaker to bear it. So you see it bending. That's why we now said at physiological, once it's physically mature, harvest. So they will leave it on the field, and most times, in Nigeria, it's not like you that will say the rain. Sometimes you have those pockets of drizzling that will just come. So once it's drizzled, because it's rain now, it pushes the pot down to the soil. And most times, there was a time they lost almost half. So everything, now because of that rain, it went down and it got rotten. So then they now filed for compensation. So, and we discovered that it was as a result of crop lodging. But because we didn't put it as an exclusion, it was skewed against us, the interpretation. So we now have to put it, we insist that physiological maturity, you harvest and take it. If you leave it on the farm, we'll tell you it's on your own. Already, we give you a 120, 3-month, 4-month cover, and the cover terminates at physiological maturity. If you like, you leave it there. You want to save money. Instead of you to harvest and take it to where you dry it, and for the next milling process, you understand?
Yeah, what I can understand is insurers must have the knowledge of what is happening in the field. They must interact with the farmers.
Yes.
And they must also try to identify who is giving knowledge to farmers concerning the risk.
Yes.
Like the agricultural extension force. If you are an insurer, you are given loan, you have to work with the Department of Agricultural Extension, because they always take farmers against these losses. And also they know the crop cycle better. So if they want to operate independently, the chance of their success may be low. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So like I said earlier, when we had it in Nigeria, everybody was involved. The extension officers were part. They're the ones that even carry out the TOT.
Yeah.
So we train them, the insurance, they're the bankers, and everything they need to know. And we give them the training pack as well. So they went to cascade it to the farmers. You understand? So every farmer, like I said, Nigeria, the knowledge, that program helped our farmers. They know so much about insurance. They know so much about the do's and the don'ts. And they know. And like I said, the serious ones are succeeding. You know, and you know, we talk about sustainability. You know, they have outlived even the program. Most of the programs, because the president left, that is from the northern part. The next president's project is not attention, you understand? But those that were able to imbibe that training, because that's even when you are giving support, it's not for the kingdom come forever. You are expected over time for you to even move from that smallholder farmers, from that 5 to move to 10 and become like a commercial farmer and start. Are you getting it? So you should not depend. Even if you are giving, the joy of a bank giving you after 2-3 years is for you to stand on your own and then let them support others. You are paid back and you say, even you now, why should I be borrowing? At least you have grown the realm of borrowing and start having, are you getting it? So that's the joy. So it should not be every year, you must give us hand to mouth, give us something to survive.
I just
Okay.
wanted to clarify